Alright, hello, welcome back to my channel. It smells like barbecue. Somebody is grilling outside. My name is Tony. I am here recording with my sister Holly, and we are playing golf with your friends and discussing childhood, or I guess just stories. Alright, hello?
Hello.
Okay, so I didn't realize that we were at the end of that level. Alright, so we are talking about lost friendships, and I was talking about my best friend Brenda, who I've been friends with for a long time, like 20-something years, 25 years, or more than that, I guess. Gosh, because our kids are in their 20s. A long time, like a very long time, maybe 26 years? I don't know, long time. And, yeah, I was 14, so 26 years. Oh my gosh, I feel so old when I talk about how long I've been friends with my friends, don't you?
Yeah, I really do. Especially since I'm not even very old, but I've been friends with Autumn for 26 years.
Yeah, exactly. It's so crazy. But anyway, so my best friend Brenda, I'm still to this day friends with her. I literally just hung out with her and her husband today and their children. But there was a point, was I pregnant with Matthew? I think it was when I was pregnant with my oldest child. I was. Her boyfriend at the time decided that he didn't like me. It was actually kind of sad because that was also a lost friendship. Actually, is my friend's boyfriend. I'll just say his name. His name's Donnie, and him and I were really good friends. Like, my best friend had her daughter when she was 19, and she was very, very premature. She was born at 6 months pregnancy, 28 weeks, and she was in the NICU for a long time, and I spent every single night in that NICU with her. You know, we were raising this baby together. And then she had started dating this guy, and, well, her and I kind of, I'm not going to get into it because it's not my story to tell, but there was some postpartum depression issues and whatever. She was fine. But she started dating this guy, Donnie, and she invited me to hang out with him, and I did, and he was a nice guy to me at the time, and, you know, we got along and everything was fine. And so basically me, him, and her took turns with her daughter. Like, we all worked, we all had jobs, and so, sometimes I would have their daughter. Well, it wasn't the boyfriend's daughter, but he you know, they called him dad, whatever. And sometimes I would be babysitting and he would come and relieve me. Sometimes she would, you know, we all hung out together. And he was kind of a toxic person, I guess. Overly jealous and just kind of, there were issues. I mean, we were barely 20 years old. And they ended up breaking up. Well, he decided that I was the reason. And I was pregnant with my son by this time. And their daughter was almost 2. And he decided that I was to blame for the end of I suck at this. He decided that I was to blame for the end of their relationship. And he threatened to blow up my car.
Yeah.
With me and my unborn child, but he did not call him my unborn child. He called him a bastard. Me and my bastard son is what or me and my bastard child. We didn't know he was a boy yet. And
that was pretty good.
Yeah. And so, you know, I was like, okay, forget that. That's just it. So that was the end of my friendship with Donnie. I actually did try to be friends with him again, because they broke up and then they ended up getting back together. And when they got back together, I really tried. I tried to be friends with him. But then when they broke up again, he threatened to burn down my house. And I just, at this point, and another time he threatened to punch me. Every single time I've been pregnant, this guy has threatened my life and the life of my unborn child. I don't know why. He just loves to do that. But they are definitely not together anymore. Now she's with a guy that I like. But anyway, there was a point after this happened that her and I stopped being friends because she took his side. And I was done. I was pregnant with my first kid. I wasn't having it. So she was not there when my first child was born. And sorry, I keep choking. And her and I didn't talk for a little while there. She did come and see my son when he was born, because even though we weren't really like friends, we still like kind of pretended like we were, I guess. But then there was a point where she had something happen to her medically, and her mother called me and just said, I know that you guys aren't really talking, but she needs you. So I went to her work and I hugged her and held her and let her cry, and that kind of repaired our friendship a little bit. We still didn't hang out all the time, but then she had her second daughter, and after that, her and I just became friends again and never stopped being friends since then. Yeah. And this was many, many years ago. Her second daughter is 18 now. So, you know, we did have a brief time.
Holy
and
crap.
What?
That's insane.
Oh yeah, that Lex is 18.
I keep picturing little tiny Lexi, and like she's on my thing, so I see her all the time.
Yeah,
and I know she's
she
older than that,
graduates
but,
next weekend.
Oh my gosh, and she is beautiful.
She's so beautiful.
That child is like, she
Yeah.
posts pictures, and I'm like, wow.
I know. You're like, holy crap, Lex.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a beautiful.
Okay.
She's such a sweetie. But anyway, yeah. So her and I are still to this day best friends. Like I said, I literally just was with her a few hours ago at the Memorial Day parade. Like, she's my bestie. But we did have a brief amount of time where we were not friends because of, you know, stupid stuff that should have never happened, but did. And honestly, that just taught me that, I don't know, I guess it taught me that even if you aren't friends for a little bit, you know, like my whole thing was, even after I had Matthew, she still came to my house to check on me. And when she lost her baby in between Haley and Lexi, and her mother called me, I still was there immediately.
I think that a good lesson for that would be like, you don't have to, like, being, I don't know how to explain it. Like, even if you fall out with somebody a little bit, you don't stop caring about them.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically.
Exactly. Because the minute Tina called me and told me that Brenda needed me, I was there. Like, it did not matter one little bit. It didn't matter. I would have never not been there. So, you know. So that's that one. And then, let's see. Aside from that, one friendship that I kind of lost that kind of makes me sad is Joy and Mike.
Ah.
Because
that makes me sad too.
I know, like, I really loved those guys. So I had these neighbors. Actually, the way that, like, I went to school with the dad. Like, we were friends in school, but not like super close friends, just like friendly friends, you know, like acquaintances, I guess.
Yeah, like you guys got along.
Yeah, and like I worked at McDonald's, and when his mother was sick, she was really into Beanie Babies, so I got him all the Beanie Babies. And anyway, our kids became friends, and that it was actually because Matthew had a lot of trouble making friends. So it wasn't until like I think third grade that he had his first friend, and it was their son, and they became best friends. And at the time, I knew the mom, and I never knew the friend's last name. I only knew his first name, so I did not realize who his dad was for a long time. And once I did, I realized, you know, that we were neighbors and that, you know, our kids were best friends. So we started hanging out quite a bit. I would go to their house in the morning for coffee. Like, the kids we would all wait for the bus together because their bus stop was the house. Like, their house was the bus stop, I mean. So we would go.
There was a bit of time when I hung out with them a lot too.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And like, we would hang out, we would have coffee, you know, the mom or the dad, like both of them were my friends. And like, they would, even after we moved to our house that we live in now, it's not that far from them, but it was no longer the same bus stop, so it felt like forever away. But I would still invite them over, we would hang out. Well, the mom started like she started working at a bar here in town and started hanging out with people that like went out to the bar drinking a lot more. And I don't drink at all. So that just kind of like organically just kind of stopped. And then when COVID happened, we couldn't really hang out because we couldn't go around each other a lot. And then our kids stopped being friends. And so that just kind of...
That also makes me sad.
It would make me sad, except I know why they stopped being friends, and good on my kid for sticking up for his other friend.
Yeah, I'm just sad that happened.
Oh, yeah. But, so, you know, that one makes me sad as an adult because these were really nice people, and I really genuinely liked them. And so it makes me sad that I lost that friendship. But I also, I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't fight super hard.
Oh.
And, like, when I still see them, we still say hello. We're still friendly to each other. It's not like I dislike them. We just stopped regularly hanging out. And I'm actually really bad. Like, I have to have friends that are super low maintenance and don't need me to talk to them very often. Because I'm not going to. Like, I am the worst about, like, keeping up with people. And it doesn't help that I don't drink. Like, honestly, the bulk of the friendships that I've lost that have been just, like, superficial friendships have been because I don't drink and party.
Right,
So, you know.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of friends that I would go, like, see now coming back home, but they'd want me to go, like, to the bar with them and to, like, party with them.
Exactly, and that's just
I have
not
no
what
interest
you do.
in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. What other friendships have I lost that I can think of? I mean, I guess you could say, like, a lot of the people that, like, I grew up hanging out with, I don't really hang out with, but that was just more all of us growing up and having kids. And, you know, if I see them, I still hug them. I still say hi to them. But I wouldn't say, I don't think that I've ever had a friendship where we, like, straight up don't like each other anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
or if we do,
have any-
I'm not aware of it.
I don't have any that I was, like, super close with, like, you know, I mean, besides the one girl who told me I look like a slut, but
Yeah,
it was just,
yeah.
like, that wasn't, like, a loss of a friendship. That was just that I ran into an old friend and she had a weird take on me.
Yeah, exactly.
But, like, yeah, most of my last friendships aren't, like, we hate each other either. It's just, like...
Yeah, it's just kind of,
Literally.
you kind of grow apart because that's what happens.
Yeah.
But as
Which I
an...
can say about...
What?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I can say that about all of my, like, relationships, too.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and like, well, yeah, me too, except for my most recent one.
Yeah.
But like some friendships I lost because like, oh, I can think of a lost friendship. Oh my God. I don't think I can tell this story though, because a lot of people don't know why this friendship was lost.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think out of
Is
our
it what I'm
sisters,
thinking
you're
about?
the only one who knows that story. It's Bobby.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. I might be the only one that knows that story.
Yeah, you are for sure the only sister who knows.
And that is
And none of my kids
very
know.
serious
Yeah,
topic.
that's okay. So I'm not going to touch on the topic, but I will tell you guys that when I was 16, I had a very good friend. He was my best guy friend besides James, because James at the time wasn't living around me. He had moved away. But
Oh,
we
yeah,
still
so
talked
my
all the
sister
time.
and I started hanging out and became best friends too.
Yep.
We were always around.
Yeah, like literally this guy was my best friend. And he had a girlfriend. So when people told me that he had a crush on me, I laughed in their faces and said, why can't girls and guys just be friends? You know, fuck off, basically.
Yeah.
And I was at the time dating one of his closest friends.
Yep.
And we hung out, I'm talking daily. Like literally, I was just telling Dan when he came over to cut my grass yesterday, because we were talking about Titanic for some reason. I was telling him how I took Robin to see Titanic because Bobby refused to. And weren't you there too?
Over and over. Yeah, I was there some of the times. I wasn't there all like fucking 12 times. But I was
Yeah,
there a
like
lot of
I
times.
took this girl to see Titanic. I've seen Titanic more times than I didn't even like Titanic. But his little sister always wanted to go see this movie. And
We were
this
in, like,
guy,
third grade.
yeah, and this guy was my best friend. And that he fucked it up and did something so horrible. And he managed to,
Disgustingly.
yeah, he managed to get away with it originally, like with the drugging part, I guess, because I trusted him. He was just like, open your mouth, and I was like, okay. Oh. And anyway, so we stopped being friends completely. Like, that was it. I never spoke to him again. And he has since passed away, so I'm not going to go into details because he does have a child out there. But you know what's funny to me? Oh, yeah, and a sister. I forgot about his sister. Yeah, she would not want to hear that story because her brother died.
Yeah.
But do you know what's funny is Mary was apparently mad at me because I didn't go to his funeral. And she felt like we were such good friends. Why would I not be at his funeral?
Did you tell her why or no?
Oh, God, no. God, no. I'm not
Okay,
going to
good.
tell her that. She is his child. I'm not, no.
Yeah, I know. I know. That's why I was hoping that you were gonna say no.
No, I know. Well, and she didn't tell me that she was mad. She told Tracy.
Gotcha.
So anyway, that was a lost friendship that that one taught me don't fucking trust your friends sometimes, I guess.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah, that one sucked. That one was by far my most traumatic lost friendship, for sure.
Well, yeah.
So, you know, that
It's really hard to get more traumatic and awful than
yeah, exactly. Then that lost friendship. So that one was gone. Gone. Please don't fall off the edge. Thank you. But since I've been an adult, I haven't really lost any friendships really like I said, Mike and Joy kind of faded away. What? Did you think of another one?
I did.
Who?
But this is a lost and regained friendship, but oh no, don't fall. Okay. Since we have a few more holes, I'll tell this one real quick. Sam.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I have a friend. She is my best friend. Like kind of obsessively. Like we're a little codependent on each other. We talk all day on Messenger, video chat each other all day on Messenger. But when I first moved to California, we actually met because we worked together at McDonald's. And she's a few years younger than me. She's 4 years younger than me. And she didn't really get along with a lot of the people that we worked with. Like people kind of thought she was a bitch because she just really didn't like people. To be fair, the people that we worked with weren't that likable. So, yeah, so hold on, I'm sorry, I gotta adjust something. But she just like approached me one day, probably like 2 weeks into me working there, and handed me a slip of paper and it had a song written on it. And she's like, "Have you ever heard this song?" And I'm like, "No." And she's like, "You should listen to it. I think you'd like it." And I'm like, "Okay." So I went home and I listened to that song and I liked it, and I came to work the next day and I was like, "Oh yeah, that was a really good song." And she's like, and then we just started chatting and like instantly clicked and became best friends, and we were like people at work knew us as like Sam and Holly. We were Sam and Holly all the time. You didn't get one without the other. Like best friends. And like she almost moved in with me and Jay at one point because she was having family troubles, and her boyfriend, who is now her husband, split up for a little while. And yeah, but the one problem with Sam was that she was raised with a lot of like body issues.
Yep.
Like she had it put into her mind like her whole life, fat is bad. You know, you look fat, you look ugly, blah blah blah. You need to go on a diet. Just like, you know, toxic, disgusting things nailed into her brain. So she had a lot of fat phobia. And there was this one girl who we worked with who was a sweet human. She was so nice. I loved her, and I was friends with her. But she was a bigger girl. And Sam would always make fun of her weight and was like really mean to her for no reason at all. And this girl was like super nice to Sam all the time. And so eventually, like right before we moved back to right back for a while, me and her got in a fight. You're still there, right, Tony?
Yep, I'm listening.
Okay. We got in a fight because she made some comment, and I eventually went off on her, and I'm like, you need to stop. Like, you need to stop making these comments about her weight. You're rude. It's awful. You're super mean. Like, just knock it off. And she got mad at me for yelling at her, and then we ended up just saying a bunch of really, like, toxic, horrible stuff to each other. and we stopped talking for like after I moved out of the state, and we didn't talk until one day I commented on something on her Facebook. Like I told her I loved her haircut or something in a picture, and she was like, "Oh, thank you." And we started talking, and then we became friends again. Um, and then I moved back. That was the first time though that we stopped being friends for a while. And I didn't like, as much as I was sad because we were so close, I didn't regret it because I wanted to stick up for that person, and I wasn't going to let her continue to say these things,
Yeah.
She needed to be told that it wasn't okay, and even now she'll admit that she needed to be told that that wasn't okay. And then we came back and we started hanging out again, and then we had another falling out. And this was because she tried to, you know what, I'm actually kind of weirdly embarrassed about this one, so I don't really want to say exactly what went down, but she just kind of made me feel really judged about like some stuff in my life, and then I ended up kind of judging her for some stuff in her life back, in defense. And we stopped talking again for like a few months.
I don't know
And
if I know
then-
that story.
Oh, yeah, I'll tell you about that story later. But we stopped talking again for a few months, which was really sad because by that point, oh my gosh, by that point we both had like our daughters who were like 2 years old and were like already friends, and already like hanging out with each other, and it just became, oh my gosh, that's where you're supposed to go.
Yeah, it took me forever to figure that out. Jesus.
I was going the wrong way.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's how that ended up. And then eventually I messaged her and I was like, listen, like, we need to just work through these things and so stop, like, not being friends, because this is ridiculous. We're adults,
Yeah.
We can talk to each other about our issues. We don't have to get defensive and mean and
Yeah, exactly.
whatever. And she was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I feel so bad. I was just trying to be open and honest with you about things. And I mean, she was. It's not like she said anything in a mean way. It's just the stuff she said was stuff that I was already feeling insecure about. So, yeah, it was messy for a minute there. And then I can't even say I learned anything from those lost friendships except that we need to communicate and talk and,
Right.
be more open with each other until, so that we don't just let things boil up and then eventually be like, I hate this, and, end up. Yeah, so. Yeah, that was lost friendships, but only like momentarily lost.
Right.
So, yeah.
Whoops. Yeah,
So
I don't know if I've really, like, aside from Joy and Mike, that was honestly just, us not really being able to see each other as often and whatever.
Yeah.
I don't, like, Joy will still, like, message me if she needs, like, a sitter for Gwen or whatever.
Yeah.
And, I still say hi to them when I see them, and she was actually the one who got me the job taking care of Clive.
Oh, yeah.
So, there's nobody that I dislike. I just, sometimes people's wives won't let you be friends with them. Sometimes you lose touch because your kids stop being friends.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
It's weird. It's just so weird, though, too, how, like, you can be so close with somebody and talk to them, like, every day, and then a few years later, or even a few months later, it's like, they don't
Yeah,
know.
it's like they don't even know what's going on in your life. Like, Joy and Mike have no idea about my situation.
Yeah. It's weird. And you know that if they did, they'd be, like, so supportive of you.
Oh,
Like,
of
so
course. Oh, of course
Yeah.
they would. 100%.
help in any way possible. And
Yeah, 100% they would be supportive. Yeah. All right, well, are you up for another video, or do you have to go?
I probably have to go because it's, like, almost 3 o'clock. And
Okay, that works. Oh, yeah, gosh, if it's almost 3 o'clock for you, that means it's like 6 o'clock for me, and I have to start dinner.
Yeah.
Okay, I am going to mute for a minute and end my video, and then we can discuss things that we can't discuss on video.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, be right back.
Okay.
All right. I just totally went to the wrong thing. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed these videos. If you did, let me know, and we'll be back soon to do some more. So comment, subscribe, like, follow our socials. They're all linked below, and I'll see you later. Bye!